guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kim. I currently live in Japan where I do lifestyle and traveling videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for all your love and support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on your post notification bell. That way you'll never miss another video. And without further ado, let's jump into this video. So from the title, you guys already know we're talking about the pros of living in Japan, and we can even extend that a little bit more to the topic of the pros of being an expat. Remember, we're starting wide and then we're going to shift our focus back into Japan. If you're new here and this is your first video, go ahead and click right here for the playlist where you can see all the episodes on the series of expat life and how to transition to being an expat. Number one, the first pro, and I'm sorry guys, I've been talking all day today, so my voice sounds a little bit raspy, so I apologize about that. So number one, the first pro of being an expat is going to be your horizon is going to be widened. And I've talked about this several times with you guys. It's no joke. You have moved to a new country and your eyes is like you could see so much more. There is so much things that's being thrown at you, new knowledge, and your thought process, your horizon, everything is just being widened because you're being exposed to different culture, you're being exposed to a different thinking, you're being exposed to a new you. It's your horizon changes and it widens. Number two, moving overseas pushes your boundaries. It allows you to push yourself. Moving overseas is either you eat or you're being eaten. Things that you never knew that you would have done, you start doing it. And again, that leads back to that horizon being widened. It might be that prior to moving overseas, you were afraid to talk to strangers. Stranger danger, I know you've heard that your entire life. But when you've moved overseas, you might need some help. You get that courage where you're not afraid to walk up to whether it's a foreigner or a native, and you just go up to them and be like, hey, I need some help, or hey, what does this mean? That pride actually drops when you move overseas and you start pushing the envelope and pushing those boundaries, and you're doing something. Most times I would say within a month, every month you're finding yourself extending and doing something new. You're pushing that envelope of who you are. Number three, so it depends on your job once you move overseas, but most jobs award you a more balanced work life. So you might find that you'll have the opportunity to travel more, and whether that be international travel or you're traveling within that country. And let's just stick a pin right there, because even if you're back home, I am always flabbergasted at the thought that domestic travel is seen like, ooh, you just traveling down the street, oh, you're just going to a different state, oh, you stayed in X country, you haven't gone to outside the country. Anyone who's diminishing your travel is not someone who is worth having around you. Listen to me. If it even means that you're traveling from here 20 minutes to somewhere where you have never been, that's still travel, and that still awards you experiences that travel does. It still is going to widen your horizon. You're still going to learn from that journey. You can still now have conversations. So don't allow anyone to diminish the amount of travel or where you're traveling to diminish you as a person, because that is not okay. So yeah, most jobs award you a work-life balance, and you can either travel internationally or travel domestically within your new country. And that's something that is a big pro, because most jobs in the West, you don't have necessarily a good work-life balance. Again, I want to point out that these things are subjective, so it's going to be dependent on the role which you have transitioned in as an expat. For me, I'm in a teaching role, so I have a lot of downtime to do things compared to other people that might be in various different jobs. number 4 actually ties back to number 3 with the traveling and having that relaxed work-life balance. And what I do find, again, this is subjective, guys, but in my role, I find that I don't have much accountability. In my prior job, accountability was extremely high, but in this job, I don't have any accountability. There is no one to say, hey, why did you do this, this, or that? Or, hey, the kids aren't performing. Why this, and that? I don't have the accountability because I'm a foreigner. And what happens within that workforce, like I've told you guys in previous videos, in where I work, I am the only foreigner at my job. So there's like 50 something staff members, and it's only me, and they're all Japanese. So what happens is, Kimberly's going to go home soon. They don't know when you're going to go home, but because they know you're not from that culture, they're kind of just like waiting for the other shoe to fall. So there's no accountability that is put on you, because tomorrow morning you could just come in, somebody says hello to you, but you don't like the way they say it, and you just like toss your chair and just walk out. Don't toss your chair, but you just walk out because, hey, I'm going back home. And that's a possibility, and that has happened before, where the teacher was just at his wits' end, just up and left. So it's possible, and it's something that happens. So most times your accountability goes down, which causes a more relaxed work-life balance, because if you don't have any accountability, there's not much to do, right? So number 5, being an expat, this is the big one why most people move. It does award you the possibility, I'm going to say that again, possibility to save, because it also depends on your lifestyle. It depends on where you work, how much money you work. It depends on a number of factors. So moving overseas can help you to save. And what happens, why this is so is because you're overseas, you haven't obtained much. You have less accountability. There goes that word again. You have less accountability. You have your rent to pay, and that's if your company doesn't pay for your rent. You have your cell phone bill, and again, your company might pay for that. It just depends on what's going on with the contract that you have signed, right? So you don't have much assets in this country to kind of like buckle you down. So because of that, you're able to save more, because this isn't your home. So like me, I only have like 2 forks, 2 spoons. I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you guys this. 2 cups, 2 plates. I don't have a bunch of stuff because I'm living a very minimal lifestyle, because I know one day I have to go home, and what am I going to do with all these things? I don't have time to sit here, be on the internet like, who wants to buy this, that? Like, I'm not doing that. So because of that, you're able to save, because you don't have a lot of bills here, and you could save your money or send it back home to take care of your bills overseas. And a lot of people, because of that work-life balance too, you do find that many people have several jobs. And they'll work like 2-3 jobs where they're just going at it. I've known people who talk about clearing 10,000 US debt in a year, just by working 2-3 jobs. Now, it depends on, and this is where that subjective thing comes back in. It depends on your meaning as an expat and what your goals are. Because for me personally, I've never worked 2 to 3 jobs, and I don't believe in doing that while living overseas in somebody else's country. If I'm going to work 2-3 jobs, I'm going to work it at home. But that's just me. So again, it's subjective. My thought process is, I'm overseas, I'm going to enjoy this as much as I can, and where I'm going to hustle and put in all my work is back home, where I can properly support myself and all the benefits come back to me with my social security and all those things. This is a big one, and I don't remember what number we're at, but moving overseas as an expat and working as an expat allows you to boost your resume. It sets you apart from every other candidate that applies for that job. Imagine you've lived overseas for 4 years and you go into a job interview and they see, oh my God, you worked in Japan? What did you do? I taught in Japan for 4 years. Do you speak Japanese? No, I don't. What? Mind blowing. It's crazy to them, and it draws interest to you, and you could use that as a benefit. What does that show? That shows leadership. That shows that you are fearless. It shows that you're able to have collaborative thinking. It shows so many positive attributes. It causes you to be set apart, to be different from other people who are possibly applying for that same job or volunteer opportunity or whatever it is that you're applying for, because it shows that you're a multifaceted person, right? And who doesn't want that to be a part of their organization? So that does set you apart. If you have done being an expat correctly, because God knows there are ways which you can mess up being an expat, through just staying with your own. I see a lot of people who do this. They come overseas as an expat. However, their horizon isn't necessarily being widened because they stick with the same group of people that think like them. They're not trying to go out and branch out and learn certain things. They like that bubble of comfort that they have. They won't even venture something as small as to try a different food. It looks nasty. Don't do this at my home. Like, duh. You're in a different country, it's a different culture. And if you're going to do it correctly, what's going to happen is you're going to be talking to people or foreigners from different groups, different ethnicity, different backgrounds. You want to talk to... I just don't get that kind of mindset where you want that sameness. Nothing can happen. Yeah, change cannot really evolve from same word thinking, same word, same having the same mentality and stuff. So there are ways which you can actually mess up your expat opportunity by doing stuff like this. So if you're doing your expat journey correctly, you should have gained empathy and compassion. How? Why? Well, empathy in the sense of when you go home or when you see another foreigner actually are going through a particular thing, you can empathize with them. You can empathize with people that are like you when people are having difficulties. It can transcend many things. So for instance, I don't speak Japanese. So I can have empathy for someone who doesn't speak English and who is trying. I can go, oh my God, great job. Thank you for trying. I'm actually trying to figure out, I'm trying harder to figure out what they're saying, what they're trying to communicate with me, because I know what it feels like to have the shoe on the other feet. So you gain empathy and you gain compassion. There are many times when I look back at my life back home and I'm like, darn, now I understand how XYZ felt. So you gain compassion. And again, it could be something as simple as your parents calling you and telling you about a situation that happened at their job, and because you know that you're the only one that looks like you at your job, and this person, something happens at the job with this person and they're being isolated or whatever, and you can give your insight to that by showing compassion instead of laughing with that person and be like, yeah, that person is a weirdo or whatever it might be. You'll be like, hold on, wait a second. They're not from that town. Oh, maybe they're new to the job. Maybe they just don't understand. And this is the reason why they elected to do it this way versus that way. It just gives you a different perspective. And that goes back to last week's videos, cons of being an expat. Go ahead and check right here, where I was talking about sometimes that level of growth shifts and changes from your friends because you now have that compassion and empathy that's going on, that you can give insights of, wait a minute, nah, that's not funny. Because here's all of the possibilities that could have caused this person to be acting like that, because I know what it feels like being an outsider now. I'm no longer in the circle. outside. I hope you guys are slowly seeing how everything is getting connected, like how we're connecting. I hope that's not just in my head, but we're actually feeling or along the same wavelength here, that you're actually connecting the dots a little bit more from the previous videos and understanding a bit more why I have said what I have said. And here it is, my number one tip that I say as a pro for moving to Japan. Remember, we said we were going to start wide and then we were going to come back in narrow, because all of these tips can be applied to wherever you move in this world. And remember, I've been telling you 252 countries. You could go anywhere and these tips will work for you. They will work. They're not just subjected to Japan. And this one, however, is, because not everywhere is safe, and this big one is going to be safety. Japan is a safe country, and I'll go ahead and insert a clip right here for you guys. And as you can see, there's this girl and she left her money. There are videos where I have left my computer and my phone and my money and everything, not even thinking. Coin laundry. I left my computer, I left my book bag with my money and everything in there. There's somebody sitting over there. I subconsciously left all my things because I know how safe it is. Now, don't be an idiot. There are thieves everywhere. I know this is about pros, but also do realize in some of the videos, people do take everything literally at 100%. We need a margin of error going on, okay? So I have seen people shoplift in Japan. However, I will say 90% of the times, or even more, the safety level of someone stealing my stuff, I've never seen it. I've left my things, nobody touches it. I have left my card, my Passimo card, and you guys have seen it in the videos, this Passimo card. And you guys have seen it in videos all the time. And this is essentially cash. And I have left it at the convenience stores. And I just come back and I'm like, oh my God. At the end of the day, I did it in the morning. At the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out because this has all the money for me to go home. And you guys also know you could use it at the convenience as well, so it essentially works as cash. And I'm just freaking out. I'm like, I don't know where my Passimo is. I was here this morning. This was the last place I used it. Have you seen it? Yeah, customer turned it in. Here you are. Boom. My friend left her smartphone on the train. We came off one stop before the terminal of the train, and after getting like halfway home, she realized that she didn't have her phone. We turned back. We head back to the terminal where the train was. Told them, hey, her smartphone is missing. Somebody turned it in. They had bagged it. She just had to show her ID, and they took all her information, and she got back her phone. So I will say safety is a high factor. Safety is one main pro of moving to Japan. Again, all these tips work minus the safety because it depends on where you move. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on your post notification bell, and comment down below which of these pros you think are the most important with moving overseas. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.